Trying to feel. I wanna make you finish. Okay. Hey everyone, welcome back to another members video. I'm at the same space, same place I was last time because I am recording them back to back because I wrote a lot of stuff today and I want to get off my chest, and my girlfriend does not like it when I talk about this stuff because she doesn't understand it. So you're gonna be my kind of girlfriend, kind of my talking space. We're still at the same setup. So I'm gonna get a Halsbonbon because I have a little bit of a throat pain. Still shooting with the TT Artisan 25mm f2. Hope I'm in focus. Today we have the topic of choosing a cinema camera. It is not easy. So this is gonna be a pretty good one, I think. First of all, before we start, thank you for joining. Thank you for being a member. If you are, thank you. And if you're in Patreon or in YouTube, thank you for joining me. Comments and stuff like that, always appreciated, and I will answer back. 15 minutes trying to figure out. Okay, today's topic. Talked about 3 minutes before without even, okay. So, choosing a cinema camera is a big decision, especially choosing a cinema camera to own as a DP / operator / to rent out and everything like that is a decision that you have to think about a lot. It's a very hard decision because it comes with a lot of financial responsibilities and stuff like that. And you have to consider a lot of stuff. And I wanted to talk about those stuff because, I've been grappling with this whole thing too a little bit. I've done a lot of research. I talked with a lot of industry people. I've seen stuff on sets, and I have thoughts about this whole thing, and I kind of want to plan my my next move too in a financial sense. That it's not going to be now that I get a new big cinema camera, but in a year or two, a lot of new stuff are going to come out. But still, it's good to plan, and I want to make a video about it so I can turn back when the time comes and then think about my own moves. A lot of stuff to consider. Location, so where you're living, where you're working, what country, what city, what are the type of jobs that you're getting, like what are you shooting, because they will decide a lot for you. What are people requesting for your type of jobs, and if you were to get a camera, what kind of jobs could you rent your camera out for? What is the job market there? Can you rent it? Is it available to rent? Or is it very easy to get it from rental houses, and you may not be able to compete with them, or you may be able to compete with them. That might be a good move when you're trying to think about that stuff. And what lenses to own. So you have to also think about what lens are you going to own, and then in terms of I'm going to own dirty anamorphics and I want the full frame look, or I want a clean anamorphic look, so I'm totally fine with Super 35, or no, I have to have full frame, or oh no, I'm gonna do a lot of anamorphic stuff, so I should get open gate cable camera and stuff like that. So these are stuff that I'm considering, that maybe you should be considering if you want to get a big cinema camera. And when I'm talking about a big cinema camera, I'm talking high-end, high-end stuff. Oh, this is high-end, I think. But I'm talking about Komodo X. I'm talking about a Burano FX, not even that FX stuff, but Alexa 35 maybe. Pixis or Ursa 12K, or Burano C500 or C70, C80, GFX Eterna could be that. Mini LF 35, Monstro, Raptor XL, Komodo X. These are the kind of examples that I'm giving when I'm talking about a cinema camera of this caliber. Okay, let's talk about pros and cons of owning a camera, a high-end camera first, and then afterwards we can talk about the specific cameras themselves. So let's start with pros. First things first, you can rent the camera out. This will again depend a lot on your location, a lot on how the availability of rental houses in your location, but you can rent your camera out. You have, let's say, and it's not just to people, it's not just to corporate jobs that, someone comes to you and says, hey, can I rent the Mini ALF for a day or something like that. It's not just that. You can rent it out to productions. Like when you're working there, you can say, hey, I also have a package that I come with, and then, you know, you can rent to them, or you can rent out to your friends and stuff like that. So you can say like, okay, yeah, I cost like 1,000 euros, let's say, daily, and my package comes in at 500 euros. And then, you know, that's a very good opportunity for you to be able to rent that out. Or, you know, if you're doing like, I don't know, let's say your friend is shooting something, and then you can rent to him out to his production, and then you can say, hey, yeah, I'm slashing the price off a little bit, and then you can use my gear, stuff like that. So that's a big pro, because you can make money with your gear. And if you're talking about buying something this huge, this is something that you have to think about. That I mean, I'm saying you, but it's kind of me too, that I have to think about, because, you know, there's a lot of market potential there. Second pro, you know the gear, and you get to know the gear. I think this is kind of applicable to everyone or everything, because you can get to know the camera. You know, if they say, hey, we're going to shoot a commercial, it's going to be an Alexa 35, you go out to a rental house, and then you can say, hey, I want to test it out for a day, and then you get to learn the camera. They say, yeah, we're going to be shooting with a Raptor. You can rent a Raptor or C500, C80, C70, whatever it is, you can get to know the camera. And it's a really important thing. And when you own a camera, for me, I feel so confident in my ability to operate that thing. I feel so comfortable saying a lot of stuff can go wrong on a shoot day, right? No matter how much you plan, stuff will go wrong. And if I can eliminate one point out of that like whole equation, out of that whole problem, and that's the camera, like I know what to do when the camera just stops working, or like maybe battery is dead, or like how long a battery lasts, or is dynamic range going to be enough? What kind of an ISO am I shooting at? If I know that stuff, I feel so much more comfortable when I'm doing that job, because I've eliminated that kind of a problem from the whole problem list. So I think that's a very important thing. You can still do this point with rentals. You know, you may have rented a camera so much that you know the ins and outs of that camera. This is a possibility. It could be, and it's great if it's like that. But I think owning gives kind of that like extra cushion to you, that it just feels good. Maybe, I don't know, something like that. It just gives you confidence. Yeah. Oh yeah, you can redistribute budget. This is a good pro. So think about it. You're on a set. You're on a narrative set, let's say, or like a commercial. It doesn't really matter. The thing is, you can say to them, hey, look, I know we were going to get an Alexa 35, but I have an Alexa package. How about I rent it out to you for less money than what you would get out of a rental house, and then let me redistribute that budget to the production design or to the lighting department. First of all, everyone's going to love you. Or you can even say to like production producers and stuff like that, and then you can just say, hey, you know what? We don't actually have to pay so much money. I can just do it for cheaper. And then you have this kind of like, you love it because the producers want to save money. Or, you know, you can talk with production designers and say, hey, you know what? Let's cut off 500 from my budget and give it to you. Let's cut off 1,000 from my budget and give it to like you and the hair and makeup and stuff like that. So you have so much more kind of like connection opportunities for this when you have something like this. So, you know, that could be a great opportunity for a lot of people, and for the job too. Yeah. One-stop shop. So the fact that you're a one-stop shop, I have seen this happen. And I have seen the opposite happen too. I have seen it happen that when you're a one-stop shop, people love it. This could be for producers, this could be for like commercial work, or this could be for like budget, like corporate work and stuff like that. When you're a one-stop shop, it just means that someone's going to come to you and say, hey, I have this type of a job, and you will just say no more. I have everything, and you're gonna just give them one receipt that's gonna have everything. And you know, they don't have to deal with a lot of receipts and this and that, or you know, the producers don't have to call another person, you know, to give the okay for you to get another something else and blah blah blah, stuff like that. Like, it's just so much easy for people to work with if you're a one-stop shop. I have also seen people saying it doesn't matter. And sometimes it matters, sometimes it matters not. But for me personally, I would much rather like hear from a client and say, hey, Like I need this, I need you. And then I don't have to think about, okay, so I need to get this and this and this and this, and I don't have those, so I have to rent them out, and I have to get the, get it from them, and then, I'm going to give the receipt to them. It may not be an extra work, but it's just an extra step for you too. It's not just for the client or for the producers. It's just an extra step for you. And if you just have your like essentials or like let's say a Komodo X, and then you don't have to think about, oh, I'm gonna have to rent a Komodo X. Is it available? Is it this and is it that? So being a one-stop shop helps at some point. It doesn't mean that you have to own everything. You have to own 2 Komodos and then like 5 gimbals and stuff like that. Of course it's not going to be that. Of course you don't have to own a 2400 and now next to 2400 just for you, or like a 1200X just for you. But having a base package just is so much more easier for a lot of people, because it's just like you're just a one-stop shop. They come to you, they say that, and you say it's done. No one has to worry about nothing. It's so great. Okay, there's one more. You can do YouTube, you can do corpo stuff, you can do, cafe stuff and all that stuff, and it's kind of self-explanatory at that, but there is also the thing of like, if you have a Komodo X, the corporate clients will also pay more, because the name pulls, the image pulls. If you can, of course, make everything look $1 billion, it's not about that, but there unfortunately is this like a brand bias and like a premium bias in this whole industry, of course, and like especially in like corpo stuff, and the cafes and the businesses and blah blah, all that stuff, they have a kind of a premium bias that if you go into that, you might just get some like really good stuff out of it. If I agree with that is a different story, but it is what the industry is, so it might be a cool thing. Plus, if you do YouTube, Komodo stuff really does great. Alexa stuff really does great. C80 stuff, Canon stuff is a bit of a thing, but you can just say, hey, Pixis. I chose Pixis over FX3, and then you can just get a lot of comments and views and stuff like that. So it's not maybe it's not the best, it's not the worst idea. Okay, let's talk about cons now. So it's expensive. It's a huge investment, because even when you're talking about like just a Komodo X package, you're still talking about 15,000 at least. And Komodo X is kind of like even in the mid-range. And if you're talking about like an Alexa 35 or Mini LF or C500 Mark II or Ursa 12K or I don't know, Raptor XL, you're talking a lot of money. So you have to plan it very well, and it's a big risk. And yeah, that's the whole con. Like, it's a big risk. It's a big financial move that you probably gonna have to finance it, which makes sense in a way too. The Brano costs 20K and stuff like it's a big expensive move and a dangerous move. So have to be careful about that. It comes with a bias from you and from other people, from the production, from the clients too. They might begin to see you, oh, he's the FX3 guy, or like he's the Komodo guy, and that bias might not be something that you want. Not everyone might have that, but it might also happen, and the bias might also come from you, because there are a lot of jobs. As a cinematographer, our job is to serve the story. My job is to serve the story, and if I have a Komodo and I can just say, yeah, you know what, let's use the Komodo because I already have it, that bias can build it. But maybe that project requires an FX6 or an FX3 to be able to see in the dark or something like that. And then you have this like bias, and it just gets in front of the job that you actually should do, which I think if you're a good DP, this should not be a problem, but everyone can fall victim to this. So this is a con, and this is something that we should be careful for. And yeah, again, not just clients, but it's us too. So we have to be careful about the bias too. There's one more thing. People might think you can only be hired with your package, or they might have this like thinking of like, oh yeah, he's just gonna try to rent out his package too, so we don't have to do that. But this is a very personal point in the sense that, if you're a good person, I don't think anyone's gonna care about that. If you have like good connections with people, no one's gonna care about that. But again, it is a dangerous point of like, this could happen. So there's going to be workarounds, but some that I've wrote here. Okay, so for me, I asked around again a bit. I talked about production companies. I talked about friends, did a lot of research, and yeah. So usually, yeah. So it all comes down to the stuff that I want to do first. And if I say I want to work more in commercial, more in music videos, I want to work a lot more in commercial, actually, not just like music videos and stuff, but a lot of commercials. I will do a lot of stuff like narrative I'm fine with, but commercial is where my heart lies, I guess. The editorial stuff, no car stuff. Yeah, maybe car stuff, who knows. If the script is right, I will do everything. Like I always say that. If the script is right, I will do anything. But it's important to know the genre that you want to work in, the industry that you want to work in, because it's gonna be important for this. I always say I don't want to shoot docs. This is a big thing, which would mean I don't actually need an FX6 or an FX9 because they are requested for a lot of doc jobs. So in my work area, work genre would be the Alexa 35, Mini LF would be big. Like those are like 90% of the jobs are those. So that's a big thing. But there is this like not uncanny valley, but there's like this, let's say maybe like 80% of the jobs are those, and then there's like a 10% of, it could be anything, and then there's the other 10%, which is like whatever we can get our hands on. Maybe, I don't know, maybe the percentage is wrong, but there's this thing of like, you can also do a lot with a Komodo X. You can do a lot with a Monstro. The production company that I work with a lot, they have their Monstro, and they do a lot of stuff with the Monstro. Even though it's a DSM-C2, it's like nearly 10-year-old camera. It's a great camera. It can do a lot. So, you know, they do rent it out too. You can do a lot of stuff with that. I have a friend that, you know, does a lot of music stuff and a lot of narrative stuff too. Sometimes they do it with his like Scarlett, but also sometimes Alexa 35s, and they rent it out. But like, you can also do it with that. For me, for my type of stuff, I saw a lot of Raptors too. I heard about Raptors too, Raptors and Raptor XLs, because of the sensor size and the red color size and the red name. But you're looking at Alexa 35s or Mini LFs, and you're looking at, after that, maybe like Raptor, Monstro, Komodo X, kind of a value. And then there's like a little percentage of jobs that you say, we need the FX3. We need the OG Komodo maybe because of the size. I have not heard anything about Blackmagic stuff, unless you're working like solo stuff. Blackmagic full frame pocket cinema cameras are very popular there. But yeah, not other stuff. All right. Yeah, so let's get to the cameras that I chose for me, kind of. Komodo X. This is a big contender for me because I love the red color science. I love Red's brand. I talk a lot about this. I am a designer first. I was a designer. I am a designer still. And this is a very important thing for me. And I love Red cameras, the UI. I love Red cameras, design, everything like that. So, but Komodo X has a lot of stuff. You have global shutter, which is very important to me. Even though I do not shoot action and stuff like that, it is still very important to me. You have abundance of frame rates, you have a really good image, 6K anamorphic modes, you have a production ready camera that could be built up, that could be stripped down, and you can go solo stuff, you can do full production stuff. So it's a really good one. It's going to be a good thing to be able to rent out. There's going to be a lot of corporate stuff that could be done with it, so it's going to be good. Again, same thing. Okay, I wrote, has red name on it, frame rates, image, workflow down, great for mid-budget stuff. So that mid to high stuff there, like if this is mid and this is high, like this area, this is great for Komodo X stuff. Raptor and Raptor XL, and kind of the Monstro 8K in the same, like these three are kind of in the same thing. Although Raptors are a bit like higher budget stuff. Has a red name. It's a great alternative to Alexa. So it might be a great alternative to Alexa 35 or like a Mini LF. Alexa 35 is Super 35, so it could be a great alternative. There's a pull that the red name has still. Like a lot of people say, yeah, Nikon bought them, so it's just not. No, nothing like that. They still have a lot of pull. So, you know, Raptor and Raptor XL are still great stuff. Think about David Fincher, man. David Fincher. David Lynch. Finch? Fight Club guy. The Killer. Killer was also shot on the Raptor XL, I believe. So it's good. Superman shot on red, I believe. The new Superman that's going to come out. Good stuff. Monster 8K, same thing. DSMC2, but still great image, great price, and red name has the pull, and it's a great camera overall. So this is kind of that thing. Of course, Alexa 35 or a Mini LF would be a great investment for me to get into. But again, I have also I follow a couple of people with like Alexas and like as their rental kit, as their own kit, like to DP and to operate, and they are saying that they might be they're renting it out too. So that might be a good idea, but the thing about Alexas and like Mini LFs and like Alexa 35s and stuff like that, you have to be really careful about rental houses, because if a rental house, an abundance of Alexas, and every production company is just connected with the rental house, you might not have the ability to to make money off of that thing too, because at the end of the day it doesn't just come down to, oh yeah, I just want to own it, I'm just going to own it, or like it's not going to be like, oh yeah, for YouTube, or like, oh yeah, I'm just going to make money. It's not going to be that. There's a lot of things again you have to consider, and if a rental house has an abundance of these and you're never going to be able to rent it out in your city, you have to kind of think like, should I really do it? Is it a really good move? So especially Alexa's 35s and the Mini LFs, they have to be really good considered because of the price too. Like you can buy some for like 60K, but like Alexa 35, fine, you can buy it for 45 to 50K. But let's be honest, you want ARRI RAW, you want the anamorphic modes, you want the frame rates, maybe you don't need 120, but you want those, and then it just quickly racks up to like a 80,000 thing. And at that point you're thinking, okay, is it like a really good thing? So even though I think they're a really good move, they have to be really good. Like the rental house situation needs to be solved for them to be good. FX3 is a great crash cam, great YouTube cam, great corpo cam. I do think that whatever I get, it doesn't matter. A B cam is going to be FX3. It's going to be easy to match. It's going to be easy to use. You can take it everywhere. It is such a good camera. Events, money jobs, really good. Or kind of in this sense, I also might think of a Komodo, OG Komodo, because of the prices that went down a lot, or a DSMC2 line as a B, C type of a cam, because they will match good with Alexas. They will match incredibly well with a Raptor X or a or a Raptor XL or a Raptor or a Komodo X. So it's going to be really good. So they're really good. I think this like category of like 3 cameras, A, B, C cameras, if you want to really go down that road. But I would definitely get like an OG Komodo or an FX3, probably an FX3 as a B cam or like a C cam. And as an A cam, I would get, I think I'm pretty much, this is going to change a lot like in 2 years. I'm going to be able to do it in 2 years, but I think that would be a great point where I can say Komodo X might be good. But again, 2 years, there's a lot of time until that. Okay, a couple more cameras that I want to talk about. GFX Eterna. So the thing about GFX Eterna is I do see GFX Eterna becoming something in the industry, and could be a good move to buy that because of the sensor size. It's a huge sensor. It's going to be good for fashion editorials and stuff like that. It might be really good for that. You get that like a kind of depth of a medium format sensor and all that. And if they were to go with textures, again, like grain textures and film simulations, and kind of like a Alexa 35 kind of a stuff, and like this there's like Alexa textures, if they were to go in a route like that, I think that camera has a huge potential, but I cannot say anything until it comes out. I have not seen it. I'm gonna see it in a couple of weeks in the expo, but other than that, yeah. Okay, C500 or C700 or C8, C500, C70, C80. To be honest with you, those are also kind of like my it's complicated section. Great cameras. They have a great color science. They have great usability. They don't have the same pull as the other cameras. that name of like, oh my god, that thing. They don't have that, but I do personally think that they're great cameras. So that's why I put them in the it's complicated section. Not that good for me section comes now. FX6 and FX9. I'm not a dock guy. I don't want to be a dock guy, so I'm not using a lot of autofocus stuff. Those are not just good for me. For corpo stuff, they're really great cameras, really great cameras, but FX3 is going to be enough with that. FX30 is enough with that. So FX6 and FX9, I don't see myself getting those. And I hate saying this, but there's a kind of a bias of like a Sony on a gimbal kind of guy, and in the industry, which it doesn't come from me. It's an industry thing, but people judge you really like when you're a Sony on a gimbal guy. Kind of a dumb thing, which I don't really want to participate in that, but it just comes also down to like it doesn't fit into my workflow, those stuff. But again, not because they're awful cameras, they're great cameras. I've used them too, and I love them too, but it's just like not for me, and they don't look good. Like not the image, the body. I don't like how the body looks. Okay, Pixis and Ursa 12K and stuff like that. I have not heard a lot of Blackmagic stuff in the industry. I think in live television and stuff, there might be people that are using that. I have not heard them. The people use them, so I don't have an opinion on that. But yeah, Sony Burano, Sony Venice too. So I have really not heard a lot about Venice stuff that are being used, and Burano too. I really have not heard them. That people use them. I think it comes down to a lot of like the studio thing too, because Sony can do a lot of great studio stuff. Because of the Sony studios, maybe because of that, I don't know. I have not heard a lot about them. If they're good for the jobs that I want to do, I might go for them. But other than that, they're just like not that good for me category. And again, I'm not hating on FX6 nor FX9 or anything like that. I really don't want to be I hate the Sony on a gimbal type of guy. I am kind of like a Sony on a gimbal type of guy right now. So I don't want to hate on that. I'm not hating on that. I just mean that it just is a different work, and it's not something that I want to do right now. Okay. Final thoughts on this. Until I am at the point of like, oh, I'm going to get a cinema camera. Realistically, like in my dream scenario, it's gonna be next year, right around this time. Realistically, 2 to 3 years. So there's gonna be a lot of stuff that's gonna change, and it's gonna depend on my city, because I want to go Munich or Hamburg for you English-speaking people out there. So it's gonna depend on that. It's gonna depend on the budget. It's gonna depend on rental stuff, but if it's the same type of landscape that we're seeing right now, I do see maybe first starting out with a Komodo X, and then in a couple of years upgrading to an Alexa 35 or a Raptor. I think that could be the good move. And again, doesn't really matter. B-Cam is going to be highly likely that it's going to be an FX3 because of the 12,800. Because I have an FX30, they would match really well for like corpo and event type of stuff. And OG Komodo might still be there, but yeah. Okay. Rambled on a lot. I see 32 minutes on the timeline, and yeah. Okay. I'll see you in the next one, and thank you a lot for joining me. And comments or anything like that, do leave them below. Do let me know. This is a members only thing, so there will be a lot of fast answers from me. So thank you for supporting me. Thank you for supporting my dream, and I'll see you later, and I hope you learned something. Okay, bye.